Hello and welcome to the Buy, Sell, Hold Spotlight presented by Sports Car Market Magazine. I'm Darren Robert. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Also, be sure to join the conversation and share your thoughts by leaving us a comment below. Our guest today is Donnie Gould. He is with Broad Arrow Group. Welcome, Donnie.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. For those who may not be familiar with you, why don't you give us a little bit of background?
I've been in the antique and classic car hobby and business my entire life. My dad actually got me in the business. He was one of the first full-time collector car dealers in the United States. He started doing it as a full-time business in 1958. And so I've been around these cars my entire life and been in the auction business. First auction I attended was Auburn, Indiana in 1973 and worked with my dad in his first auction that he had selling off his collection at Pocono International Speedway back in 1974 and been involved in with multiple companies from Cruise International to RM Sotheby's, Auctions America, and now with Broad Arrow Auctions.
You've definitely done a lot of stuff, but most recently, Broad Arrow Group kicked off its inaugural event in Monterey, California. Why don't you give us the results on that?
Yeah, so our Monterey auction was our first sale, and we had spectacular results and nearly a 90% sale through rate and 55.3 million in total dollars. So we had a very successful auction, and we in the process we set 14 new world records. So very solid opening act for us.
Not a bad day's work, no question about that. What were some of your top sellers?
So our top seller was a 1957 Ferrari TDF that sold for $5.5 million. Ferrari F50 that we sold for a new world record. I don't remember the exact number, but it was over $4 million. And so it was a real good day for us. So we're very pleased with the results and happy to be have our first auction behind us.
It was a beautiful event, no doubt. I was there and enjoyed it very much. What would you say, with all of your experience, and obviously you've worked all over the place and done a lot of stuff, what would you say really made that first event different from anything that you've done prior?
The big difference is the people that I'm working with. Lots of great guys that have worked together in the past and always had each other's back. And the camaraderie was the best part of the whole event.
I'll tell you, I come from an auction background a little bit as well, and that really is what ties together an incredible event. It's having the right people in the right places and knowing that everyone's back is covered. So that's a fantastic thing for sure. So on the block, what was your favorite event or a favorite moment of the event?
To be honest with you, we had a Mercedes-Benz 600 Pullman Land O'Lay that most of the people in the world said that we were very optimistic with our auction estimate, but I believed in that car, and it took off like a rocket ship and sold for a new world record price. That was a lot of fun watching that happen.
Good stuff for sure. Speaking of other good things, you have another sale coming up here in a little over a week, the Jim Taylor Passion for the Drive collection, which I believe is October 14th and 15th, correct?
That's correct, yes.
So give us the overall scope of the collection. It really shows beautifully online, and it looks like there's some wonderful things there.
There is a very eclectic collection. I mean, it's across the board. Everything from one of the very best D-type Jaguars on the planet to Model T Speedster. So, and everything in between. Jim Taylor is well known in the hobby. He's one of the guys that gets in his cars and drives them and uses them, and doesn't necessarily use them up, but he has a lot of fun with them and has for many years. I started with Jim's dad back in the 1980s, and after he passed away, I inherited Jim, kind of, as what I tell people. And we've had a great relationship together for many, many years, and we've had a lot of fun, done a lot of events together, bought and sold a lot of cars together over the years, more buying than selling. And he's come to the point in his life where he's feels that it's time to release the majority of his collection. He's not selling everything. He's keeping a dozen really great cars, and that'll get him into any event that he wants to participate in. And it just kind of thinning the herd in a big way so that he doesn't leave the responsibility to his daughters. So very proud to represent Jim and his family and sell this wonderful group of cars that he's collected over the last 25 plus years.
There's definitely some wonderful stuff there. A lot I'm sure that you're responsible for. Let's kind of go down the list about with some of the feature cars. You mentioned the 1955 Jaguar D-Type. Why don't you give us a little bit more detail about that car?
Fantastic car. And one of the reasons it's such a great car is because in its early life, it wasn't raced. It was used as a street car by Colonel Ronnie Hare. And he was he's the fellow that ended up having the Ferrari dealership, Ferrari distributorship rather, in the UK, post his ownership of this D-Type Jag. But he was a gentleman sportsman racer, and he bought this car new and used it not as a daily driver, but he put 6,000 miles on it in the first 4 years, just driving it on the roads and never participating in any races with it. And that's one of the things that kept it so intact.
I can't even imagine what it must have been like to watch that car drive down the road.
It's an amazing car. I've had the pleasure of, putting quite a few hundred miles on it myself. And I describe it as a Swiss watch because it's just smooth as silk, and it's quick and it's fast, and it stops, boom, like on a dime. The brakes are incredible on that car. And it's just a wonderful piece of history.
Incredible indeed. Another car that creates quite a bit of presence as well from the collection is a 1967 Shelby 427 Cobra.
Another great car that Jim was able to acquire. He's had that for nearly 20 years. He bought it from the second owner, and the second owner bought it in 1968 when it was a year old, and he drove it for 2 summers and put it in his garage and took it apart. He wanted to take the inner fender wells out of it and clean the undercoating off of them, and he took it apart in 1970, and it sat there until 2003. And that's why it's got such low mileage. It's a very good car that's never had any trauma, and still has a lot of original features on it, painted in its original color of Guardsman blue with original sunburst wheels and its original motor transmission and rear end. So there aren't many 427 Cobras, street Cobras, that still exist with, that great provenance.
Yeah, it's truly incredible. Amazing story on that as well. Sticking with Shelby's, he's got another phenomenally cool Shelby, this time a Mustang. He's got a GT350H, which always kind of has the presence, I think probably due to the color combination, but this one's especially special because it is a 4-speed manual transmission car.
Yeah, they made 1,000 of the Hertz Rent-A-Car Shelbys in '66, and the initial order was for 150 cars from Hertz to Shelby American. And after they got the initial run of 150 cars, 85 of those 150 cars that they delivered were 4-speed cars. And they realized very quickly that not everybody knew how to drive a car with a clutch. So they immediately placed another order for 850 more after that, but all of them were automatic. So it's one of the very few 4-speed Hertz rent-a-cars that exist. I think there's probably somewhere around 55 of them that are left of the 85 that were built. And it's very, very special car. Yes.
Very special indeed. I mean, you see those cars come to market pretty regularly, but they're almost always automatics. It's definitely rare, and it's an event when a manual transmission car comes on the market in that configuration. Also, sticking with the manual transmission, you've got a 2007 Ferrari 599 GTB Fiorano, 6-speed equipped car there. That's another incredibly cool car.
Yeah, there's only 30 of those that were made for the world market. 20 of them came to the United States. So, very super rare car, and puts you in that special club of having a 599 with the clutch pedal. they don't come to market very often either. And when they do, they're still very desired by collectors today.
It truly shows how diverse and how eclectic the collection is that's coming up on offer in mid-October here. So very cool indeed. Another auction that you guys have coming up, you guys are not taking your foot off the gas by any stretch of the imagination. November 18th and 19th, you're headed to West Palm Beach. Why West Palm Beach?
Well, West Palm Beach is kind of my backyard. I live in Stuart, Florida, Martin County, just north of Palm Beach County, the next county north. And I started with Cruise International. My dad did, and we did our first auction in Broward County, Florida, back in 1975. I didn't even have a driver's license back then, and we've been doing auctions in South Florida. Our family has ever since. So I started another auction in Fort Lauderdale with my former colleagues and partners at RM Auctions, and I thought it would be good for us to continue that tradition under the Broad Arrow brand and have a South Florida sale that is more mainstream, not quite like we had out in Monterey, more cars for the everyday driver.
Well, that certainly makes sense. It's certainly a viable market. There's a lot of cars. There's a lot of enthusiasts down there. So it should be a great sale. And you've got some great cars to lead the charge as well. One that caught my eye in particular was a fantastic 1986 Ferrari Testossa. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's a great car. And I love the color combination on that too. It's very unique. It's not the typical red tan that you see. So, and that car has had a recent complete full service with new belts and fuel distributor and, axle seals, C-attached list. So that's a turnkey car that's ready to go. And that's something I'd love to have parked in my garage. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that car immediately jumped out at me as well for a bunch of different reasons. And it has all the things that you want when you're looking to purchase a 1980s Ferrari as well. Also worth noting, an 88 Porsche 930 M505 slant nose. You've got an 89 and a 94 Porsche Speedster. So some great stuff there. If somebody's looking to join these consignments and consign their vehicle in West Palm Beach, what's the best way to go about doing that?
Just get on our webpage and find a car specialist that you think you might communicate with the best, and give him a call and talk to him about your car, and see if you can put a deal together to get the car consigned for the auction. So it's a mainstream auction, and it doesn't have to be a $1 million car. We're looking to focus in that $25,000 to $500,000 range. So mainstream cars are what we're looking for, and we hope that everybody comes to Palm Beach and enjoys themselves at our first annual sale there.
Pretty nice part of the world, no doubt. It's a good place to go buy a car, and your sale's going to have options and diversity. So should be a good deal for sure. Okay, Donnie, you're an experienced guy. You're in the marketplace all day, every day for God knows how many hundreds of hours a week that you work. So we'll go ahead and give us the rundown here. In today's current marketplace, one car to buy, one car to sell, and one car to hold.
Well, it all depends on what you like. So I've never told anybody to buy, sell, or hold anything as an investment, but I say buy, sell, and hold on what puts a smile on your face. So you got to look at the cars that please you the most, that do the most to keep you happy, and focus on those and hold those. And the ones that don't necessarily keep a smile on your face, those are the ones that maybe you want to let go. If you're looking for me personally, one of my favorite cars is a car we touched base on earlier, was the 66 Shelby Mustang, the Hertz Rent-A-Car 4-speed. I've had one of those since I was 19 years old. I still own it today. And that's a car that will hold forever. As far as sell, that's a good question. Maybe it's time if you had a Ford GT to liquidate one of those. And, because I seen the market starting to drop on those a little bit, but, a 05 or an 06 is what I'm referring to, Ford GT. Maybe it's time to release one of those.
Good stuff indeed. And I couldn't agree with you more on that Shelby. I want that car that you guys have. I don't say that on the show too often, but a 4-speed 66 GT350H is about as good as it gets, in my opinion. So that's an excellent car, and somebody's going to be thrilled to take that thing home. Any final thoughts?
Like to thank you guys for having me on this podcast. I've never done this before, so I'm a rookie, and happy to be with you guys. And thank you for having me and Broad Arrow Auctions here with you today.
And once again, for anybody who's looking to consign or looking to register to bid, where can they go to learn more?
They can go to broadarrowauctions.com, and they can either call in on the phone number. If you're an old dinosaur like me, you call in, and otherwise, if you're more up to date with your computer skills, go onto our website and you can write into us.
I would like to thank our guest, Donnie Gould, for joining us today. To learn more about anything that we discussed here, be sure to pick up the latest issue of Sports Car Market magazine by visiting the link in the video description down below. As a reminder, if you enjoyed this content, please take a moment to like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay on top of future episodes. I'm Darrell Roberge, and thank you for joining us on the Buy, Sell, Hold Spotlight.